So, this is a big move. What could benefit from it? Okay, let's go over some things here. First of all, let's look at U.S. Steel. Now, U.S. Steel has a pretty nice pattern. Somewhat similar to the Shanghai Composite with, let's widen it back out again. So U.S. Steel has an initial up move, got hung up at 50, 51, pulled back, and now looks like it's ready to go again, holding its shorter term moving averages and looking like it could be in a position to attack again the 200-day, which isn't falling, by the way, it's rising. So U.S. Steel is a candidate, and of course U.S. Steel has been in the news because perhaps U.S. Steel is on the takeover block. We don't know. But anyway, it looks like U.S. Steel is about to, especially if China drags it higher, about to go into the 51 area, 52 area. If it breaks out, it's going up here somewhere towards 60. All right, so that's U.S. Steel, which should benefit from China procurement of steel and heavy metal, well, I should say building materials, steel and iron ore included. Let's take another one. Let's go over to Schnitzer. Right, Schnitzer Steel is another, manufacturer of steel beams and so forth, rolled steel. And look at all the highs in here, in the 49.5 area, close to 50. Schnitzer is in position to take off and to attack these highs at 49.5. And if Schnitzer gets through, I think Schnitzer could go to 55. So that's another one, SCHN. How about Nucor? Nucor Mining. Nucor Mining doesn't look quite as good as Schnitzer or U.S. Steel, but it looks to me as though when we widen it out, elongate the chart, that NUE made a major unconfirmed corrective low at the end of August at 35.71. It's rallied $5 already, or $4.50 already, but it looks to me as though this pattern, this corrective pattern, is done. And now this corrective pattern is done. And now NUE, Nucor, broke down, trapped the shorts, and now it's heading back to test its 200-day at 42.82, right, from 40. And the trend line, the resistance line's at 44.60. So NUE could be one to watch because it's lagging the others, but has a very positive chart setup. All right, let's look at if you want to be in you're not sure which steel will move, but you want to be in that sector. Let's go over to the SLX, which is the steel ETF. The steel ETF looks pretty good, right? Has a base, like a double bottom down here. The high around 60, 61, 61 off of the double bottom, and that's where SLX rests, or is perched as of Friday's close. The prior high is 62.5, and if it gets through 62.5, then the SLX should run. And I think we're talking about $70 in the SLX. So if it's a sector play that we want, then to take advantage of X and Schnitzer and Nucor, then SLX would be the play. All right, let's continue on this line of reasoning that perhaps China is starting to grow. It's going to need more industrial materials, and so the industrial materials types of names. Busey is another one. They manufacture and produce heavy equipment for miners, for coal miners, copper miners, This is a great looking chart. Now this is ahead of the Shanghai Composite. Question is, if and when, based on a reaction to China, positive reaction to China, Bucyrus should retest its prior high, which would be about 74 and change. Breaks the prior high. Let's see where it can go based on the weekly chart. Wow, this is pretty interesting. Now let's widen this out. Put in a trend line to see where UC can go. And so, big resistance around 74. Prior high we said was 74.16. Is that right? 74.16. Takes that out. That's a weekly trend line that goes all the way back to June of 08. So this could be huge for Bucyrus. So keep Bucyrus in mind. Let's go back to the daily, put up a different chart. Joy G. Another similar type of situation in Joy G, which is just like Bucyrus in terms of what it does. Produces heavy equipment from the mining industry. Now it is already testing its highs. Let's condense it. Very powerful chart. If we stick up a channel analysis here, then what we see is the potential, if it gets through its prior high, and that we're talking about on here 64 and change. No, it has to be higher than that. 66 almost. Gets through 66, then 75 would be the top of the channel for Joy G. So this is another one that has done a lot of work. It looks better than the steels. So the industrial big heavy equipment manufacturers seem to look really good right here for upside continuation. If I put up a weekly, just to see what might be in store. Let's get rid of this. Gets through here, well, 75 would be on the way if we put up the weekly channel. So the weekly channel would argue for somewhere around 78, 79, and looking like it will go for a test of the June 08 highs. So another very powerful chart, right? And then of course there's Caterpillar. Caterpillar looks very good as well. Same sort of situation. So if you're more familiar with Caterpillar looks like it's been in a high level consolidation between like 73.80 at the April high. A contracting range, breaks out. Now this looks very, very interesting from a technical perspective, because if it breaks out of this coil type of pattern, that to me would be a breakout from a bullish coil that spent some time doing its work, its homework, so to speak, and the objective would be somewhere, let's see, the width of the channel is what, 56 and a half, 73, let's see, $6 to $7. So a breakout from here could take you to around, I would say somewhere around $80, if not $82. Very bullish chart for Caterpillar, and which would also be a beneficiary of a Chinese catalyst in the Chinese market. Now let's take another one. Textron, or I'm sorry, Terex Corp. Sorry, TEX. Similar type of pattern. Double bottom, hasn't broken out yet, which means that it could be very interesting. It breaks the 200-day on the upside.